is Dave Pope. I want to welcome you to Webex Wednesdays. This is the Webex Meetings Advanced. For some of you who took Katie Shaw's class last week, you saw some of the entry-level things. This week, we will be looking at more of the advanced things, including polling and live streaming. We will have a Q&A section at the end. This is only a 30-minute section, so I am going to try to keep this going along. I will try to save 5 to 10 minutes at the end for your questions. So if you wouldn't mind, just hold your questions, and at the end, we'll do raise hands, and I will go ahead and answer any questions that you might have then. All right, well, let's get going. So the first thing we're going to look at is our agenda today. We're going to talk about some of the things that are available to us. So we're going to look at switching audio during your meeting. And then we'll take a look at Note and the Note Taker feature. We'll also look at zooming in, zooming out. And then we'll look at polling, and we'll finish off with live streaming to features like Facebook and YouTube. All right, so oftentimes what happens with our meetings, we jump in, and matter of fact, I saw this on one of the other projects that I'm working on, where clients were joining on a WebEx during their call using their computers. The problem is that they needed their computer headsets to do other things. So what we have to do in this case is switch from using our computer as our headset to switching over and allowing the system to call us. And the good news is that when you're doing this, you don't have to actually hang up and call back in the meeting. What you can do is actually switch the audio from one device to another. I'll take a look at this. Up here at the top, we'll see the audio button in the toolbar. Select that, get a choice to switch the audio connection. Of course, you'll see speaker, microphone, and camera there. We click that, or what we can also do is select the More button down at the bottom, which is those 3 little dots, and then choose the audio connection there. When we do that, we get this pop-up, and that pop-up allows us to switch audio. So you'll see here, it says you're using computer for audio. I can disconnect, which I don't want to do, or I can switch my audio. I can have it either call me or I can call in. So I'm connected right now with my computer. I could say, call me. And when I do that, it'll disconnect from the computer on my phone, my desk phone or my cell phone, whatever I have available to me. And I don't actually ever leave the meeting. The only thing that changes is the way I'm now listening and speaking at the meeting. Now that brings us into notes, and a couple of things I want you to look at here. So we're going to be doing, we can assign a note taker with the notes. That means that if you're hosting a WebEx meeting, you can actually go in and assign someone to be the note taker. And the way you'll notice here that if I click on the if I click on the 3 little dots at the bottom, I get a pop-up and it says notes. Well, when I select that, I can, once that's turned on, I can go up to the toolbar under participant, just change role to, and I can say note taker. Once I've assigned, in this case, Mike Butler is the person I've assigned to the note taker. Now Mike will do all of the notes for us. And when he's done, he can save them and even publish them so that everybody who is attending that meeting can then have those notes. So not every person in the meeting has to take notes. We only need to have one person take the notes. And if we get the one person to take notes, then he can share it out to anybody else that we want to have it. So once he's done that, he can click on save. And in this case, we can create a new folder. I've created a new folder here called Meeting Notes. And this gives me the notes.txt, which is a basic text file. I hit save. and it saves it out. All right. And that brings us into another thing that's very important to us, and that's zooming in and zooming out. I know for me, I get very frustrated sometimes because I'm older. I'm sitting in on a call and I can't see exactly what's on the screen. So I need to be able to zoom in on what's actually being shown. I don't want to bother the other person and say, hey, can you zoom in on this for me? I want to be able to zoom in without bothering anybody else on the call. So how do I do that? Well, you'll see here, I have a screen that's come up in the display that's up here, and I need to be able to fill the screen so I can read this a little bit better. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go up to View on the toolbar, and under View, you'll now see where it says Zoom In, Zoom Out, and Zoom To. I select Zoom In. I can zoom in by hitting that over and over again. You'll also notice here there is a shortcut key. I can hit the Command greater than or Control greater than for those of you on a PC. Or to zoom out, it would be Command or Control and then the less than sign. Each time I do this, the screen gets a little bit bigger for me and it zooms in a little bit tighter. I can also choose Zoom To. Zoom to, I can say, well, fill it to 75% or give me 100%. Maybe I can fill it up to 200% depending on how small something is. I really want to fill that screen. So I can say zoom to 200%. Also have the choice here to fit it to the viewer or fit it to the width of the screen. And that really fills the whole screen up with what the person is trying to show. And it makes it much easier for me to read. One of the biggest frustrations that we have is like I'm watching this, I can't really see it. I can hit zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Well, that's really not getting me anywhere. If I hit view to fit to viewer, now it fills that screen up for me and it gives me everything that I need. All right. And that brings us to our next section, which is polling. Polling is a great tool. This gives us the opportunity to find out how the class is doing. Maybe we want to ask them quizzes. Maybe we just want to do a general poll of what they believe in something that we're showing. Polling gives us this opportunity to ask questions during the class and get a response from everyone during the meeting. So in this case, up at the top in my panel, I have selected the polling button. And you'll remember back at the beginning, when I hit the three little dots, I had a choice. I had notes at the top, and then I also had polling. So in this case, I've made sure that polling was turned on. And this button here is where I can create a poll. This button is where I would edit the poll. And here what I've done is I've created a new question. And you can see here, are you learning anything new? So that's been created. And I can then put in my answers. Now, the answers come in a couple of different ways. In this case, I have multiple choice. If I go to edit, I can actually change the name of the question. And then I can go down and you'll see where it says, click here to change the question type and actually change the answers from single answer to multiple answer, or even just choose a short answer. So a single answer is yes or no. Multiple answers might be choose 2 out of the 3, or choose the best 3 answers out of 6 questions. So I have different ways that I can create these polling questions. So I can create the questions, add in the answers. I can go back and edit if I've made a mistake on the question or I want to maybe fine tune that question or even the answers in here. And then I can actually choose how the answers are going to appear. Do I want a single answer, yes or no, true or false? Do I want multiple answers? Do I want to say, pick the best out of the 5 questions here, choose all that apply? And I can do that as well. When I'm done, you'll see down there in the lower left-hand corner, the new circle that just showed up. That's actually going to be my save button. And when I select that, just like before, now I have with my notes, I now have a place to save my polling questions. So I can create a new folder just for my polling questions, which I did here. And then I can name the poll that I want it to be, save it. I always recommend that when you're doing this, save the poll to someplace easy for you to get. You'll notice here, I've created the folder on my desktop. And I've done that to try to make that a little bit easier to find. So I've done the polling question folder here on my desktop. I've added the poll to it. I've hit save. And now, if I want to bring that back, so I've saved it, I've created it, and 2 days later, I'm leading my WebEx meeting, and now I want to actually bring the polling questions back in. Well, next to the save button is the load or add polling questions. And when I select that button, it's going to go in and say, hey, where are your polling questions? I simply navigate to where they are. I'll find the poll.atp format, and I'll select that, and then I can choose open. And when I do that, it automatically launches that for me. So it makes it much easier for me to go in and create the polling. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll create a generic meeting, get that meeting set up, and then I will create all of my polling questions in kind of this fake meeting that I'm doing and save them to my desktop. And when I've saved them to my desktop, I can then go back in for my real meeting and load them up. So maybe 2, 3, 4 days ahead of time, I create the polls, save them to my desktop. And then when the meeting actually happens, I can go ahead and open that and launch my polls without having to try to create them as we go along. So it makes things a lot easier. That brings us to the main feature of this. And this is the part that I'm really excited about, the ability to live stream onto things like Facebook and YouTube. And I'm going to walk you through this now. So a couple of things I want to mention before we get started. You do have to have your admin go in and turn this feature on. It is not there by default. So you need to make sure that you turn that feature on or have them turn that on before you try to use live streaming. Once they do turn it on, you're going to see a screen like this. Again, I've hit the 3 little dots or that more button down at the bottom, and it brings up, and now you'll see that I have a start live streaming. So for most of you right now, if you went in on a meeting and did this, you wouldn't have that feature. But I already have admin turn this on. That's why I have that here. So I select start live streaming, and it brings up a new dialog, and I can choose 2 choices here. I've got Facebook Live. Below that, I actually have other streaming services. So I can choose other streaming service and put that in there. That's again going to be something like YouTube or Twitch or any of the other services that are available that I could live stream. I'm going to show you that in a little bit, kinds of the things that you would need to do that. We'll stay focused on Facebook right now. So when I choose Facebook, I give it my username or my login and then put my password in, and I choose login. Now, I can choose to keep myself logged in with WebEx meetings. Guys, I don't do this. I keep it unchecked because I will log in when I want to. I don't like the idea of always being logged in. I don't trust myself not to make a mistake and maybe accidentally start a live stream. Okay, so let's keep going. Once I've logged in, now Facebook realizes that I'm logging in, and you've probably seen this screen before. Facebook will say, hey, would you like to continue? In other words, Facebook is asking you, is this okay that you're doing what you're doing right now? Are you sure you want to have a live stream? In this case, I'm going to say okay, and I'm logged in. Now I'm connected, as you can see up at the top, with Facebook, and I need to make some other choices. So here, I put the title in. What is it that I'm streaming? Well, I'm streaming Webex Meeting Advanced. Share Webex Meeting where? This is cool because I can share it on my timeline. I can share it to any of the groups that I belong to, and I can share it on my page. So in this case, if I said share on my timeline, then it says, who do you want to share this with? On my timeline, I can choose whether or not it's public, meaning that anybody in the world can see this. It's connected to the internet. I can choose only my friends. That means that only people that I am directly connected to on Facebook, that is a direct connection or a friend on Facebook, can see that. Friends of friends are people that are friends of the friends that I have on Facebook. So in other words, if someone is connected to one of my friends, they can also see it. And that can get pretty wild and pretty scary. You're almost getting to the point where you're getting public on that one. And then lastly, if I just want to do a test and see how this is going to work, I can choose only me. That's a great way to go in there and make sure that everything's working the way you want it to. The only people that are going to be able to see that is you. No one else is going to be able to see this. All right, again, we had public. All right, in this case, what I've done is I've chosen a group. So instead of share on my timeline, I'm going to share this in a group. And it brings up every group that I belong to on Facebook. And you'll notice, we have dogs. So I have the Spinoni groups, and, you can see the different groups that I belong to, the Bloodhound owners group for our other dog. So we have different groups that we belong to, and I can choose which group that I belong to do I want to share my live stream to. Here's the key or the kicker on this one. This is the one that gets me. So in a group, I'm only sharing it to the group. In timeline, I have full control over the timeline. Public, friends of friends, or only me. But when I go to a professional page, so let's say you have a community page for your town or your church or anything else along those lines, your business. In this case, I have my own professional page under my name. And when I go to that and I try to share, I only get one choice. I can only share to the general public. So I don't have any control. I can't just say share only to my friends, share only to members of my page, share only to me. No. For some reason, Facebook insists that when you share to a page, that you automatically have to make it public. So something to be very aware of on this one. If you're going to try to do a live stream through WebEx meetings and you're going to send it out to, for your church group or your community group or your town, whatever it happens to be, just realize that that's out to everybody. That's going to be a public live stream. All right. Next option. And this is, instead of Facebook, I'm going to stream to something like YouTube Live or Twitch or one of the other things. So the first thing I do is I put in what the streaming service is. In this case, it's going to be YouTube. And then I want to put in my target stream link and a target stream key. And that, so that is going to be, excuse me, let me just move back forward to this. So when I do that, I have the choice. I put in my YouTube or Twitch, whatever it happens to be. In this case, let's say YouTube. And in YouTube, if I go in under the Creator Studio and I choose the go live section. As soon as I hit go live on that, it automatically gives me the target stream link and the target stream key. So I put in the target stream link, and when I put that in there, then I have to put in the key. Those are both provided. And once I do that, you'll notice down there I have start streaming. So I select streaming, and now it's starting to stream. And that's that. Now I'm live and I'm ready to go. So I can do that on a lot of different services that are available today. These are the key things that you're looking for. Uh, Again, like I said, you can live stream. Obviously, we can live stream to Facebook. You can live stream to YouTube, Twitch, any number of different services that are out there. And of course, there are third-party apps too that will help you. If one of those services doesn't work, there are third-party apps that work with Cisco that will make this work for you. So we covered a lot today. We've talked a lot about. We've done our polling and zooming in. We've talked about live streaming. There's so many great things that we're able to do now with our advanced features. So hopefully last week you saw Katie Shaw's program and you can see what she did with the basics. I've got the advanced here. These are both going to be up on our website. Before we go any further, are there any questions? Do you want to have any questions for us today? I want to thank you guys very much because, like I said, if you need more questions, if you need more help on this, you can go to our website, go to our YouTube channel. You're always looking for SMP-Corp to find that. So if you go to YouTube and type in SMP-Corp, you will find our YouTube channel. You'll see the videos that we're doing each Wednesday, as well as several other videos that we've done that could give you a lot of answers and help you a lot. This Webex Wednesdays will be going on at least for the next few weeks, and you can always join us. Check out LinkedIn to join us or our own page at smp-corp.com to join, and that can help you as well. Guys, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to spend a half hour with me today. I hope this helped you a lot. Hope you learn more. And I hope that next week you'll join Katie in her class, and maybe the week after you'll join me for my class. Thank you again so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you next week at one of our next classes.